Welcome to part 2 of the class activities video for BA 342. As discussed in a previous video, it is very important that you start with your logic as you work through these queries and don't just jump into Access to create them. It will not serve you well if you only start working in Access. You need to make sure that you take the time to work through the logic. But as a part of this video, as you've seen these queries before in class, and as this is just an additional help video, I will move faster than I normally would when creating these, as it's only intended for review and for supplemental material for you. So let's get started. For the first query in this video, we want to design a query that lists each employee's birthday by their month and day, so in which their birthday occurs. So basically we want to know when we need to plan parties for our employees. And this would be a great query if we were trying to plan birthday parties. So we'll take a look at this and realize that all the fields that we could possibly need are in fact in the employee table. We're going to need perhaps employee ID, but definitely first name, definitely last name, and definitely birth date of the employee. So let's get started and see if we can make this query. Let's go to the Create tab and click the Query Design button. And we only need this one table for employees. So we'll add it. And if we're special like I am today, we will accidentally add it twice and have to delete it out of here. So we can right click on it and click Remove Table, or you can click on it and push delete, but Remove Table to get it out of there if you make the same mistake that I did. So for this query, we're going to list employee first name, employee last name, and employee birth date. We're going to sort these employee birth dates, and we're going to remember to click on this totals row. So we like to have this down here in our grid down here. So we're going to sort this, and we're going to sort it ascending because we want it to happen from January into December. And then we're going to run this, and we're going to see what happens. So I run this, and I get first name of my employees, last name of my employees, and their birth date. And then I look at my list and realize that's not what I wanted. So it did sort them in ascending order. It sorted them by year. Access and other Microsoft products and computers in general, guys, they store dates as numbers. The Microsoft Suite starts counting their dates in January 1st, 1900, for those of you who care where the numbers start. And they go upward from there. So the further along, so 2018 is represented by a higher number than 2006. So chronological order by day. But this is sorting them by year because they're stored as a number and only sorting them just chronologically in general. But this isn't really helpful to us, especially if we have more employees than these 10. This isn't helpful to us if we're trying to plan birthday parties. This is just how old people are, but this is not what we were asking for. This is not what our boss wanted. So first I want to point out to you guys something that's in your slides. It's this very, 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 very useful website called Tech on the Net. Tech on the Net has all kinds of information that you'll use long after you leave BA 342, long after you leave UT. Tech on the Net stores things for SQL, it stores things for Oracle, it stores things for Tableau, it stores things for all the different technology tools that you can use. So store this somewhere in your mind, in your computer. But I looked up a couple of these things for you. So these is straight from the Tech on the Net website, is the month function and the day function. And it's going to help us to sort through these birthdays in the way that we wanted to. So we're going to go back to this design view, and we're going to create a formula that tells us the month of the birth date. So I'm going to show you how to do this in the builder, but you just type just like you do in Excel, and this is going to start typing month. It's going to bring up this formula here for month. So you can double click on it, you can push tab, and it'll randomly come up here. And so now it's saying, what do you want me to get the month of? So give me the date. So we'll open our employees table, and we're going to give it the birth date. And what this is going to do is it's going to spit back at us the month of these birthdays. And so I'm going to call this birth month. In the end, we're not going to show it because it's not going to be necessary. But for right now, I'm going to say show me the month. And I'm going to call this an expression because I don't want it to group by it. I just want it to know that I'm calculating something up there. And so I'm going to run this, and it's going to tell me that this February birthday is month 2, March is month 3, so on and so forth. And we're like, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to know. So we're going to sort these in ascending order. And all of a sudden, our birthdays are going to be sorted if I take the other sort off, because as I've told you guys before, Access reads from left to right, and normally when I've told you, and we've talked about this, I've told you that Access forgets the last thing that you told it, and when you're grouping by and you're in that totals row, that's absolutely true. Access remembers the last thing that you told it to group by. It's a little different when you get to sort, because what happens is Access remembers all of your different sorts. So if I don't take this one off, it's not going to do what I want it to do, and I'll show you an example again in a minute. So I'll get rid of the sort on the birthdays and sort it by month, and then these appear January, February, March, May, July. I'm like, awesome. This is exactly what I wanted. It's in the right order by month. But then I look at July and I have this problem, right? I have July 20th in front of July 2nd, which again isn't a big deal, except these aren't even in the same week, so they can't possibly have the same birthday party. So I got to figure out how to do this. Well, similarly to the month function, there is a day function. So let's see if we can type it here. So day, and we're going to open our parentheses and we're going to type employee underscore birth underscore date. We're going to close the square bracket because that's the name of the field. Close the parentheses. We're going to call it an expression, again, because we told it to make something. We're going to call it day. This is the other way that you can build them outside of the builder, just so you know. I know you know that from help videos. We're going to sort these ascending. Come over here. And magically, our July 2nd is going to be over here in front of our July 20th, which is exactly what we wanted. So I don't need to show the month and the day in my output. So to take them away, I simply uncheck these boxes on the design view, run it again, and I have employees sorted by month and day of their birthday, but not by their actual birthday. So this is what we want. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to say, yes, I want to save it by employee birthday for party. So I remember what order it's in. I'm going to click OK. But then I'm going to open it back up for 1 second because I want to show you my logic that I was telling you that I would show you again. So just for this example, I'm going to show these again. And I'm going to click on this and I'm going to move day over in front of month. What I'm doing here is I'm telling Access, I want you to give me the employee's first name, the employee's last name, their birthday. Then I want you to sort it by day. So I want you, if it's the first, the second, the third, the fourth, I want you to sort it by day and then by month. And so you might think that this is going to give us the same output that we had before, but it isn't. What's going to happen is Access is going to sort by day, and it's going to freeze the day, and it's going to say, okay, perfect. I want to sort by day. And so Professor King said sort by day, and then she said sort by month. So I'm going to keep her day sort, and then I'm going to sort by month. And the way that you can tell that this is messed up, other than the fact that it's just still sorted 2, 3, 4, 5, but it did resort because I have February in front of September here on the 19th. So it does matter, and it is important which way we let Access read our fields. So if I just simply move that back the way that I wanted it, it will run. It's going to be back in the order that we wanted it in to start with, and we're going to be like, yes, that's awesome. Uncheck the boxes and close it again. So that's how we would get that, and I hope that the tech on the net is very useful to you as you move forward, both in this class and after. But let's get started on, these are just the instructions, and we'll walk you through it if you're not talking to me. But we're going to get started on another query in just a second. Before we do that, like I just told you, date is not stored necessarily as a date. Access and computers in general, they store them as just numbers so that you can do mathematical operations with them. You'll see later we can subtract dates from each other, we can add them together, we can do all sorts of things. And then there's this other data type we haven't talked about yet. It's called a Boolean. A Boolean is a true-false data type. It means something either is or it isn't. And the one that we have in our BA342 database is for discontinued products. So we have a field called discontinued, and it is a Boolean field. It says either yes or no, a product is discontinued or it isn't. So the value of these fields is not TRUE or FALSE. It is true or false, yes or no. And Access will accept if you put in yes or true. It will even accept if you put in 1, or it will accept no or false or 0, because 1 and 0 are the true false to a computer in binary. Again, I know more than you wanted to know, but for those of you nerds out there like me, you'll appreciate that information. So another one on here that you're going to want to pay attention to is null. Null means that there is no value or the field is empty, and we'll come across that again in a later video. So let's try one more. Design a query that tells us the number of days between the order date and the ship date for all orders. Display order ID, order date, ship date, and the number of days between order and ship date. Okay, awesome. We can do this. So to start out with, what we're going to do is we're going to look here and we're going to figure out what is it that we want to know. So we need to display order ID, order date, ship date, and number of days. So we know that order ID, order date are in the orders table, and ship date is in the sales table. So we need to get the orders table and the sales table and link them together. So let's go to Access and let's do that. Let's create a new query by going to Query Design, and let's get orders and sales, and we'll say okay. So Access has already linked these tables together for me because it knows, because I've done it so many times that it knows. I'm going to link these two fields on order ID because you've told me this before and I remember. So that is in fact how I want to link it. So I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to roll with it. So we need order ID to show. Let's click on our totals button before we forget. We need order ID, we need order date, we need ship date, and then we need the number of days between order date and ship date. So because ship date occurs after the order date, we're going to subtract it that way. This is the first time that we have discussed, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. I need to be in a new field. This is the first time we've discussed using the builder with different tables, but you absolutely can do that. So we'll open BA342. We're going to get the ship date first, which I know I'm moving really fast, but hopefully you've done this before. Out of the sales table, I'm going to grab the ship date. I'm going to put minus, and then I'm going to go to the order table. I'm going to grab the order date, and I have ship date minus order date. I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to rename this days between order and ship. And I'm going to tell Access that this is an expression because I've told you before, if I let it group by it, it's going to do all kinds of crazy town. So I'm going to tell it, well, I'm going to tell it it's an expression. It's not going to let me show it, and then that's going to be okay. So, oh no, it is. Okay, good. So we have days between order and ship, and we have ship date, and we have order date, and we have order ID, and we're done, right? Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted order date, ship date, days between order and ship. Awesome. Except for one thing. I need all of my orders. Do I have all of my orders? I have 1,818 records. Is that all my orders? Let's see. If I open up the orders table, I have 1,881 records. Well, darn. Something's not right. So let's close this and let's go back to the design view of our query and see if we can figure it out. So I have order ID, order date, ship date, days between. I have both the right tables. Here it is. It's the join. I need all orders, which means right now I have this inner join that's only giving me data where these two tables intersect and they have information on both sides. That's not going to work. I need all of my orders. So I'm going to double click on this and I need it to include all records from orders and only those records from sales where they're equal. So all records from orders, okay, it's called the left join. Run it again. I have all of my records here, which is what I wanted. And I can sort this ascending or descending, however I want to do it to see. And it tells me I have all of my records. That's the longest days between ordered and shipped. And I can go down here to the bottom and I have all of these nulls. All of these nulls, meaning empty fields, because why? These things haven't shipped yet. So I can't calculate between 2 days. And then I have this weird one here with -4, which means one of two things has happened. Either this actually has shipped before it was ordered, which is not good. Not good. We're not going to like it if we've shipped things that haven't actually been ordered as a business. Or I have data entry error here. One of these two things has gone wrong. And so this is going to be a problem that I'm going to want to investigate more. So all of that to say, this is the way that you would do this query. So we're going to save this as days between order and ship. And then we're going to say, okay. And then we're going to do something else. So we want to build a query that lists all the ship dates, all the orders that have ship dates before the order date. So we want to find that -4. And we want to figure out how we get that -4. So the way that we're going to do that is I'm going to make a copy of this days between order and ship. And I'm going to copy it. Oh, that's not what I want. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to call it shipped before ordered, because that's what I'm ultimately going to name it. Shipped before ordered. So this is just to tell you that you can copy and paste queries shipped before ordered. I'm going to open this one up. And so now I'm going to tell it I only want these. So I can do a couple things. I can say I only want these where this is less than 0. And if I run this, I get the 1, right? It's less than 0. But there's another way that I can do this. I can take this out completely. So I just select it, hit delete. Or if it's being stubborn and doesn't like me today, I can just highlight that field and hit delete. And if I can say that I want all of these orders where the order date is greater than the ship date, but let me show you how to do that in the builder. So I can use the builder for this criteria row as well. So I can click on the builder up here. And I'm in the order date field. Show you where I am in this field is right here in this criteria. And I want all of the order dates that are greater than the ship date. So I click OK, and I run, and I get the same one. So just another way to get what you were after, and save the changes here, and get what you were after if you needed to find the orders that were shipped before they were actually ordered. So one last thing that I want to go over in this video is the Boolean field, the discontinued field. So let's skip down through all of these. And let's design a query that displays the product ID, the product name, the gross sales of products that have been discontinued. So again, we need to look at this. So we need product ID, product name. So that's probably in the product table, right? Product ID, product name. And the gross sales. So we're going to need the sales lines table, which connects to the product table, which is nice because we need sales times quantity. And then we need all the ones that haven't been discontinued. So we're going to use this Boolean field of this discontinued. So let's create a new query. Query design. And like I said, we need products and sales lines. And we'll close this. And we're going to link these two tables on product ID. Get our totals row. And then we're going to look at what our boss asked for, and we're going to say, okay, great. I need product ID, I need product name, and I need gross sales. So we know how to get that. We go to the builder. We open up the sales lines table. If we can push the right buttons. Sales lines table. Gross sales is sales price per times quantity sold. We say okay. And we say, I know this is total gross sales, and I know I need to sum this, because if I don't, I'm just going to have a whole list of things. So I need to sum these. And so if I run this right now, I get product IDs and I get gross sales, and I'm like, okay, well, that's what I want, except for one thing. That's not my discontinued products. So to get this, change this discontinued products, I'm going to say I would need discontinued products that are a yes. You can put yes here, you can put true, you can put 1. Just means that these things are discontinued. So I run it again, and you probably weren't paying attention before I did this, but it was $13,000 product gross sales for product 1 a second ago when I ran it. But now you can see this checked discontinued field is only showing my gross sales for my discontinued products, and then I can unclick this because I don't want that ugly checkbox to show, and I get the right answer. So hopefully that helps you to understand both some of the builder things you can do with the adding and the subtracting of dates, and to work with the Boolean field, and hopefully it helps you to understand some of the more fancy functions that we can do in Access, like the month and the day. Please continue watching our other help videos as you move forward with working on your project and studying for exam.